let's just talk about the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the ACC. I remember when the Big East got left out of the conversation. That seems like so long ago now, when it got parceled up. But yeah, I mean, what's the future of these other conferences? I mean, there are other sports that are competitive. I mean, basketball, for instance. What happens to a team like Kansas, Kansas State, Duke, North Carolina? You know, of those schools, I think the only one with a, I mean, maybe Kansas could get into a big conference just on the basketball, but I mean, the football program's just been in disarray. I mean, they beat the Longhorns
SEC
2 times the last 5 years.
For Kansas.
I mean,
purely off basketball.
Do you even exactly? But do you even want like nothing but big dogs, or do you still want a few like softer teams in college football that maybe play very well at other sports, like Vanderbilt, for instance, one of the flagship programs of college baseball? Their football team, you know, doesn't really get it done too often, but they you know, still are in the SEC, and they're in a big city as well. Nashville's a big market to be in. So, you know, Kansas doesn't have that going for it, the big market aspect, but
it could, sorry to interrupt, bro, but it could turn out to be like kind of how Notre Dame is, where they're like in the ACC for other sports and they're independent for football. Maybe you see the, you know, like Kansas or a Duke stay in the ACC for basketball and then be in a different one for football. I mean, they're going to have to figure it out some way, you know, especially like for the other sports. Like you were saying, I haven't heard anyone bring that up yet. So,
yeah. And, you know, Baylor. Didn't Baylor win the fucking college basketball not last year, but the year before or something like that, right?
Years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. And Kansas won this year. It's
and
two Big
even
12 schools back-to-back years.
And Texas Tech was in the championship the year before that. These are all schools that aren't even really, you know, don't really have a chance at joining anybody else. The Big 12 seems like it's trying to salvage itself. I heard reports they were meeting with Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State. Arizona, another big-time basketball program, as I'm sure you all know. And that would bring together the 2 Utah schools in BYU and Utah, and bring Colorado, who left the Big 12 back in the last realignment, back into the fold.